As a YouTube millionaire, I've experienced the kind of luxury that most people can only dream about. Flying first class to a 50K mastermind in Portugal, staying in the best penthouses, and eating the best foods. But it's not all about materialistic things. I've also fulfilled childhood dreams, like traveling the world and paying for a trip to go skydiving with my best friend. But here's the thing, I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that becoming a millionaire isn't just a pipe dream. It's achievable, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. No BS, no get rich quick schemes, just real actionable advice. And the reason I've been able to live this life is because I focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is building wealth. And that's what I'm gonna teach you today, how to actually become a millionaire. This video is going to be your blueprint. I'm going to break down the exact steps I took, the mindset that I cultivated, and the strategies I used to go from zero to millionaire. And I'm not just gonna tell you what to do, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So we're gonna cover three main sections in this video. First, we'll talk about the fundamental principles of wealth building, the non-negotiables that you absolutely have to understand if you want to be a millionaire. Then we'll dive into the specific strategies and tactics that I use to build my wealth. Finally, I'll give you a step-by-step action plan that you can start implementing today to begin your journey to millionaire status. So whether you're starting from scratch or you've been trying to build wealth for a while but you haven't seen results, this video is for you. And by the end of it, you'll have a clear roadmap to follow. And you'll know exactly where you are, where you need to go, and most importantly, how to get there. So if you're ready to learn how to actually become a millionaire, no BS, no false promises, just real practical advice, then stick around. This could be the most important video that you watch this year. So gently tap that like button if you appreciate me making this type of content, and let's go ahead and get started right now. All right, guys, so let's talk about how to actually become a millionaire. And this is something where I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna give you real advice. It might not be what you want to hear, but it is what you need to hear, right? So if you can't watch the entire video, which I'm gonna try to do this really quickly, there's about 15 or so points. So you absolutely need to watch this because a lot of these you probably never heard before, or you have heard them, but you don't know that these are much more important than all the other crap that you typically hear. Then I don't know what to tell you because you're probably never gonna become a millionaire. So let's go ahead and jump into the computer right now and let's talk about exactly how to become a millionaire. So the first thing is you need to have a millionaire mindset. Okay, and apparently I can't spell, but you need to have a millionaire mindset. Now, what exactly do I mean by this? And let me adjust my mic a little bit so it's a little more comfortable. So my friends that are entrepreneurs, a lot of the time we refer to non-entrepreneurs as civilians. And the reason we do this is because we know on a deep level that there is a massive difference in mindset between someone who's an entrepreneur and someone who is a successful entrepreneur as well, and someone who is either not an entrepreneur or they're a wantrepreneur. Okay, there's a huge difference in mindset, and that's why we call these people civilians, because they have never known what it's like to suffer, right? They've never known what it's like, what the dedication that it takes, the amount of accountability that you have to take in order to be a successful entrepreneur, right? And that's another thing I was gonna say is, yeah, you can become a millionaire without becoming an entrepreneur, but it's probably gonna take you like 20 or 30 years, right? So I'm assuming you wanna become a millionaire faster than that, something like 5 years or less. And so obviously you're gonna have to start a business in order to do that. Non-entrepreneurs, they're referred to as civilians, okay? And there's a reason for that. Basically, yeah, I'm just gonna do non-entrepreneurs. There's a reason for that, guys. It's because they don't have the mindset that it takes to become an entrepreneur. And this is something you absolutely have to develop. Everyone thinks that what you need is like the new AI lead generation method, right? AI lead generation method, or the AI chatbot that sells for you, or they need some kind of new shiny business model, right? The newest, shiniest business model, or the newest software. You know, you need the newest software that's going to help you, and all this stuff. That's what everyone thinks they need to become a millionaire. The newest techniques, right? Like the newest techniques, the newest strategies, etc. Yeah, I can't spell, but you get what I mean. Like the newest, the newest tactics. That's what everyone thinks they need. And they don't need any of this. What they need to do is they need to fix their absolutely broken mindset. This mindset that has been absolutely broken by society, because you have essentially been raised watching, TikTok, right? You're addicted to your smartphone, right? You've been watching TikTok and you're addicted to your smartphone. You've been taught that being a victim is good, okay? Having victim mentality is a good thing. You're addicted to Netflix, okay? You're addicted to prawn, right? You're addicted to eating crappy foods, right? Just et cetera, et cetera. You're addicted to sitting for 15 hours a day and not working out, et cetera, et cetera. And these are all things that you need to fix. You need to fix all of these things. These are things that make you weak, okay? All of these things make you weak, both physically and mentally. Okay, you become weak when you do these things, and you got to stop these things. So the number one thing that you have to change is you need to have a millionaire mindset. Now let's talk a little bit about how you can develop that millionaire mindset. That's going to be what a lot of the rest of the video is all about. So how do you develop the millionaire mindset? Well, first of all, okay, we'll go number 2 here. Become the type of person who deserves to make $1 million, right? Become the type of person who deserves to make $1 million. Now let that really sink in, because you might hear it and you kind of like hear it, but you don't fully understand it. Become the type of person who deserves to make $1 million, right? Like, because imagine if we were doing something else, right? Let's say we were doing, instead of making money, it was playing basketball. You would, like, you want to drop 50 points when you go to the park? Is there some kind of like technique or some kind of strategy that's going to allow you to drop 50 points? Yeah, you might get a few points here and there if you have some little sneaky trick for dropping points at the park. But the only way you're going to consistently drop, 50 points, 30 points in a game or whatever, if you're playing to 21, maybe it's like 10 points in a game. The only way you can consistently drop these kind of points is if you become the person who deserves to drop those points, right? You might get lucky 1 or 2 games and you hit a bunch of 3-pointers, but you're not going to be able to consistently do that unless you're the person who deserves to be really good at basketball. And it's the same thing with making money, right? It's the same thing with getting ripped, like getting really strong, getting a nice physique. You have to become the person who deserves to get a nice physique. And you do that by consistently going to the gym and working out and eating right. That's how you do that. And it's the same thing with making money. Become the person who deserves to make money, right? And you do that by having good habits, delivering a ton of value to your audience, getting other people results, solving their problems, right? Because entrepreneurship is all about problem solving other people's painful problems, right? And being consistent with it, right? This is the equivalent of going to the gym all the time. Consistently deliver value to your audience, and you're going to make a ton of money. It's just that simple, right? So instead of trying to, take some kind of pill to not be fat, or, push the easy button or something like that and not have to give consistent time, dedication, and effort, just realize that you do have to give consistent time, dedication, hard work, and effort if you want to be the person who deserves to make money, right? And you not only want to be the person who deserves to make money, but you want to give so much value that you're giving way more value than what you receive. So it would actually be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous with the amount of value that you're giving that you don't make $1 million, right? Because you're giving like maybe, let's say $10 million worth of value. So it'd be ridiculous if you didn't make $1 million, right? So that's what you want to do. Number 3, sacrifice everything that doesn't help you get to your goals. And this is especially at first, right? Now, later on down the line, when you're not prioritizing business as much, maybe you're prioritizing your family or you're prioritizing, maybe health or something like that, or maybe lifestyle, then this doesn't apply as much. But when you're first starting, guys, sacrifice everything that doesn't help you get to your goals. Let's just talk about a few things. Netflix, social media, prawn, getting drunk with your friends on the weekend, hanging out with people that aren't into, making money, right? Hanging out with people that are degenerate stuff, right? They're just into doing degenerate stuff. Like they're not going in a positive direction in their life. They're not working out. They're not trying to make money. They're not doing this. Like you can still hang out with people maybe like that go to the gym, for instance, because they're going in a positive direction. But if people are not going in a positive direction, they are going to drag you down. Okay, it's just that simple. So don't hang out with people like that. People that spend too much money for stupid reasons. I remember I would hang out with a particular group of people that would just spend a lot of money. They're always going out and eating. They're always, spending money on clothes, spending money on adventures, this, that. And what do you know? I started spending a bunch of money too. I started wasting a bunch of money, even though I was really frugal before that, right? So people that spend too much money for stupid reasons. People that just waste time doing stupid stuff, like browsing the internet, or just you wasting time doing stupid stuff. Right? Yourself. Maybe it's not even other people, just doing stupid stuff yourself, right? Sacrifice everything that doesn't help you get to your goals. Eating crappy food. That's another one. Eating crappy food. Things that cause you to stay up late and get bad sleep, right? Etc., etc., etc. Going out with your coworkers right? After work. Going out with your coworkers. And drinking after work. Just stupid stuff like that. Just stop. Just stop doing stuff like that, guys. Stop wasting your time. And, oh yeah. And one way to think about this is actually a quote from Dwight Schrute, and I got to give Dwight credit for this. But he basically said, I'll even like pop it up on the screen. He basically says, whenever I'm thinking if I should do something, I think to myself, would a stupid person do that thing? And if the answer is yes, I don't do that thing. Okay, this is like one of the simplest and kind of funniest ways of thinking about this, but essentially this is what he's talking about. He's sacrificing everything that doesn't get to his goals, and it's inverse thinking, right? So instead of thinking, what should I do to reach my goals, what you think instead is, what would a person who fails to reach their goals do? And then do the opposite of that, right? What would a person who fails to reach their goals do? Think about that and then do the opposite of that thing, right? So a really good quote is, this was a really famous Formula One driver that had this quote. I actually forgot exactly who it is. Maybe I'll look it up really quickly. Yeah, I believe this is Colin Chapman, the founder of Lotus Cars, which is a really successful Formula One team. And he basically says, to add speed, add lightness. And what he means by that is, if you add more horsepower to your car, your Formula One car, you're going to be faster on the straightaways, but you're not going to be faster anywhere else. But if you just simply reduce the amount of weight your car has, then you're going to be faster everywhere. You'll be faster on the straightaways. You'll be faster when you're making turns, just like everywhere. You'll be faster. So to add speed, add lightness, right? So to add speed, just get rid of the things that are going to stop you from having speed, right? It's just that simple. And one really good way of doing this, now you don't have to do this forever, but it's a phase that you can go through, is to look up this thing called monk mode. Now, if you might have heard about this, maybe you haven't, but it's essentially where you literally just like eat super healthy, go to the gym, get good sleep, and work on your business. And you pretty much don't do anything else. Oh yeah, you meditate too. You meditate, maybe some, daily routines, like for instance, like cold showers. Maybe you do some stuff like that. But yeah, you meditate, you go to the gym, you eat super healthy, you get good sleep, and you work on your business. And that's it. That's monk mode. You literally don't do anything other than that. Like every single day, that's all you do. And it's something I've done for a month at a time, 2-3 months at a time, even like 6 months or more at a time. And there have been times where I've done it for like very, very long periods, almost a year at a time. And it can be hard because it is boring, right? But it does get easier after the first few weeks. And it is something where I think it's probably a phase. It's not something you should do forever because we were meant to enjoy our lives, but it's something you should definitely do for at least a short period of time just to show yourself that all of these things that you're doing are stopping you from reaching your goals, right? All right, the next thing, I think this is what, number 5? How you do one thing is how you do everything. This is one that when I first heard this, I thought it was BS, right? I thought it was BS because I remember seeing pictures of like Albert Einstein, right? And he's like a brilliant mathematician, brilliant physicist, I mean. And he's the one who created like the general theory of relativity. And the dude was super messy, right? He's super messy. Desk was messy. His office was messy, etc. And I'm like, okay, so he's obviously very organized in certain ways, but he's really messy in other ways. And so I was like, this can't be true. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That can't possibly be true because there's lots of people who are incredibly good at one thing, but they're terrible at other things in their life. But what I ended up finding out is Albert Einstein, yeah, he was messy because he was a very creative person, and that's how he was able to come up with the general theory of relativity, right? And generally speaking, guys, this is correct. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And there might be different phases of your life where being messy and being kind of creative is good. You know, if you're thinking about the next business you want to start, you probably want to try a bunch of different things, get creative, read a bunch of different books, try a bunch of different things, meet a bunch of different people, have spend your time doing things that are not meticulous and organized. But there's certain times during your life where you do need to be organized, meticulous. You need to plan everything out, right? There's certain times where you need to execute on things. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I've noticed, for instance, in my life, when I go to the gym and I don't go hard, right? I go to the gym and I go easy when I'm at the gym. I'm not pushing myself hard. Usually what that means is I'm also not going hard in my business, right? If I go to the gym and I kind of just half-ass the workouts, I'm like, I don't really want to go that hard. I'm also usually not going very hard in my business too, right? And then other things in my life, like maybe I wake up and, I don't put my clothes on. I wake up late and the first few hours of the day, I'm, not getting any work done, right? Chances are the rest of my day is going to be like that as well. So it's very important to set the tone for your day right at the beginning. And how you do one thing, guys, is how you do everything. I'm telling you. There's something really, really powerful about this. And there's this really good quote from this famous samurai called Miyamoto Musashi. Really cool guy. You should definitely look him up at some time. But basically it goes, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. And an expanded version of that quote is, once you figure out how to master one thing, you can see the way that you master everything else, essentially. That's, obviously you wrote it in Japanese, but that's essentially what it translates to. So again, it kind of goes back to how you do one thing is how you do everything. Once you figure out how to master one thing, you can figure out how to master everything. Number 6, your self-perception is incredibly important. This is one that took me a long time to figure out. And if you want to read some books on this, Psycho-Cybernetics is one really good book that made me realize how important self-perception is. And one thing that, if you look back through history, the people that accomplish the most things, 500 years from today or before, they almost all thought that they were sort of like sent by God or, a god themselves or, the son of a god or, they were on a holy mission or like something like that. They all had some form of what's known as manifest destiny. They were literally just manifesting their destiny in their life, right? So them doing the amazing things they did, they felt like, yeah, it was like, this is my destiny. Of course I'm doing these things, right? No problem, right? So that shows how important their self-perception is. I mean, almost every person who accomplished something huge, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all these different guys, they all felt like they were manifesting their destiny. And so I'm not saying that you need to think that you're sent by God or anything like that, but it just shows the power of self-perception, right? And what your thoughts about yourself actually influence how they actually influence the real world. And one thing you can do to increase your self-perception is to increase your confidence. And I want to make one thing very clear. When I say confidence, I do not mean ego, right? Because ego is kind of like a fake confidence, right? Ego is way less good than confidence because you have this confidence, but the moment things go wrong, your confidence gets absolutely shattered. So you have this it's like a big balloon, and then a needle pops the balloon, and then it just dies, right? That's kind of how ego works, right? So confidence is so much more important than ego because you have what's known as reference experience. Okay, so reference experience is actual data points that are in your memory that you remember very vividly, where you thought that you were going to do something, and then because of your skills, you actually accomplished that thing, right? So you have reference experience, and that is how you build confidence. And one great way to build confidence is to simply write down what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis. You can write it down on like a little 3x5 flashcard. That's what I do. And then you just execute on that thing, right? So you write down what you're going to do hour by hour, using your to-do list and what's most important to do that day. And then you just execute, right? So you say you're going to do something by writing it down on a piece of paper, and then you execute on that. Saying you're going to do something and then doing it both on a micro level, on a day-to-day level, as well as on a macro level where you set big goals and then you actually achieve those goals, builds extreme confidence. So you will have extreme confidence when you build this and you do things on a day-to-day basis. Now, that's one side of the self-perception coin and the confidence coin. But the other side is something that you'll get out of psycho-cybernetics, which is just thinking positive thoughts about yourself. Just thinking that, you're a good person and, you're trying to do good things for the world and all that kind of thing. And there's a lot to it, honestly, when it comes to self-perception, but read this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, right? It's a really good book when it comes to self-perception. But I think a lot of it is just confidence and building confidence. That really goes a long ways. Another really important thing when it comes to being successful is just keeping things simple. Usually what happens, and I see this with YouTube all the time, and this is what I do. I teach people how to be successful on YouTube. You can check the links in the description in the pinned comment below if you want to be successful on YouTube as well. I think it's like the best opportunity out there right now. But keeping things simple, this is something I see all the time. People think that in order to be successful on YouTube, they need to spend more time and effort on their videos. And so they'll spend like 80 hours editing a video. And what they don't realize is the editing for your video is maybe 5% of the importance of a video. And like at least 60% is the idea. And then another 25% is your thumbnail, your title, and your intro. And then already you're like 85%, right? So the next 10% is delivering on the value, right? The value, making sure you deliver on the value. But like the idea is the most important thing in the video. Like the idea is absolutely without a doubt the most important thing. So you should be spending your time on the idea, not on editing, something that's only like maybe 5%, probably more like 1 to 3% of the importance of a video. So understanding what works and what matters and what doesn't matter, and then just simply keeping it simple. Just focus on what matters, right? Focus on what matters. And if you just keep it simple, good things are going to happen. So that's just one huge thing that I've noticed. Like anybody who does something, even professionals, basketball players, boxers, etc., you'll notice that a lot of the time they just keep it simple. You know, you watch like jiu-jitsu, Gordon Ryan. He keeps it simple. His style, he's not doing any crazy fast stuff. Like, he keeps it super simple. And he just uses this simple style and he just smothers people and he just destroys them. Right? And it's just that simple. Like, just keep it simple. Figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work, and then do more of what works and do less of what doesn't work. Right? And if you do that, you're going to be successful. So keep it simple. And that goes into the next point, which is focus on the basics. Right? Focus on the basics, understand the fundamentals. Understand that, like, especially with something like YouTube, for instance, most people don't even understand the fundamentals. And people will do these crazy things where they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to do a giveaway. I just talked to this guy on the phone the other day, very smart guy. And, you know, he was asking me for consulting and, you know, seeing if we were a good fit to work together. And he was like, oh, I have this super crazy plan. I'm going to, like, do a giveaway, and then I'm going to incentivize all these different creators to join the giveaway, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that's how I'm going to grow the channel super fast. And I'm just like, bro, that sounds super complicated, and it sounds like you're going to fail with that. Like, definitely fail with it. Plus, you're, like, bribing people to join your channel. So the moment that they join your channel and the giveaway ends, they're not going to care about your channel. And I'm just like, dude, no, just focus on the fundamentals. Like, come up with a good idea, make a good title, thumbnail, and intro, and deliver value in the video, right? Like, focus on the fundamentals. Like, that's the most important thing that you need to do, right? So focus on the basics, guys. I see all these people that are just trying to make things overly complicated, and it just doesn't work. Next one is think in terms of systems. So everything in your business is a system, and you really want to think in terms of systems. And this is what I mean by that. So when it comes to selling, let's say, some kind of course or coaching program, what is the first step in that process? Well, the first step is traffic. Okay, you got to get traffic, right? Traffic is people that know about you and your product. And then what is the second step? Well, you got to get leads. Okay, so what is a lead? A lead is somebody that you can contact. Now, preferably, you'd want to get good leads. So somebody that you could contact that is likely to actually be interested in your product. Okay, so traffic, then leads. Then the third thing is sales calls. Okay, and then the fourth thing is sales. Right, so you have to get them to actually show up to the sales call. And that is a thing in and of itself because you have to remind them and blah, blah, blah. And then you need to actually sell them. So that's sales, right? So once they show up to the sales call, you need to actually sell them. Then you've got onboarding. Onboarding is very important. This is where you set expectations and you show them how the program works, etc. And then you've got delivery, right? So you have to actually deliver on the thing that they bought. And then you've got retention / ascension. Retention / ascension. So this is where they continue using your product. Of course, in some products, this might not be worth it, or they upgrade to a higher level product. And then you want them to refer you, right? Referral, right? So if you want them to refer you to other people, you want to do a good job with your product so that they actually refer you to other people, right? And if you want them to continue with your product or ascend to a high level product, you also need to do a good job with delivery. And if you want to do well on delivery, you need to be doing a good job with onboarding. And if you want to onboard people, well, you have to sell them. And if you want to sell people, they actually have to show up to your sales calls. And if you want people showing up to sales calls, you have to have good leads that you can actually contact. And if you want good leads that you can contact, then you have to have traffic, right? But in if you're not getting sales, for instance, right, you can just go down the line and be like, okay, well, I'm not getting sales. Am I getting sales calls? Okay, I'm getting sales calls. What am I closing? Oh, I'm closing at 5%. Well, that's a problem, right? But maybe you look at it and you're closing at 50%. Okay, so the amount of sales calls you're getting is not a problem. Now you need to start looking at your leads. Are you getting enough leads? Well, you're not getting enough leads. Okay, then that's your problem, right? Or you know, you're not getting enough leads. Why are you not getting enough leads? Well, maybe you're not getting enough traffic, right? So you need to get more traffic. And a lot of the time it is going to come down to traffic. And that's why I teach people how to do YouTube, because YouTube, you're going to be getting an absolute buttload of traffic, right? But you can just go down the line and you just look like, okay, where am I messing up on here? And what can I improve in order to make my business better? Right? Maybe your delivery sucks. A lot of people's delivery sucks. That's one thing that, we have that's a huge advantage over other businesses. Maybe your onboarding sucks. Maybe your delivery is great, but your onboarding sucks. So people are not being introduced to your product and your team in the right way, right? So yeah, think in terms of systems. Always think in terms of systems. Everything in your business is a system. All right, I think the next one is maybe 9 or 10. And basically, this one is fear and failure are a good thing. Because whenever you feel fear, that means others are feeling the same thing. And chances are those people are not going to, they're not going to respond well. So every time you feel fear or pain or frustration, know that your competitors are going through the same exact thing and they're probably not going to respond to it well. So it's almost like a barrier that's getting in their way. So fear is a good thing. And then failure is the main way you're going to learn. So every time you fail, you should pat yourself on the back because you just tried for one, right? You actually gave it a good try. And when you fail, you learn. You learn more by failing than anything else. So fear and failure are a good thing. And whenever these happen, you're making progress. Michael Jordan had this quote where I think he said, I missed, this many game-winning shots and I missed, I failed over and over again, and all these things. And because he failed, that's why he's successful. And it's absolutely true. As cheesy as it is, it's 100% true. This is a huge one, guys. People are going to hate this one, but it's so true. And I hated this one when I first heard it. Your self-investment reflects your pricing confidence. So I remember when I thought, oh, there's no way I can sell anything more than a 1K product. I remember when I used to think this, and 1K was even way too high. And the reason I thought that is because this was the highest price point I'd ever bought, is 1K, right? That's the reason why I thought that. And now I look at this and I'm like, 1K is pitiful, right? Like that's you're like that's a tiny price point. Right now, for instance, I'm in a 50K mastermind and a 40K mastermind at the same time. I'm in two different masterminds, a 50K and a 40K mastermind. So 1K product is nothing. And I remember when I started buying 10K products, I started feeling really confident charging 10K. And when I started buying, other products that were more pricier, I felt very confident. And now, for my products, they're usually less than 10K, but still it's, I feel very, very comfortable charging that price point because I know, for one, that it absolutely is the best product out there in the niche. And for two, I have paid far, far more than that price point. And this is something where you can kind of pretend oh yeah, I'm totally fine charging this much. But there's just this little voice in the back of your head that's oh, you don't buy this stuff, so why would you charge other people, right? You don't buy high ticket, so why would you charge other people for high ticket? And it's it's this thing where you can pretend you can get over it, but the truth is you're not. It's very similar to the concept of if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And I have a really good friend who I was teaching him how to do YouTube for free for about 2 years. And he would kind of implement my suggestions and kind of nod. And he was here and there, he'd ask me for advice and blah, blah, blah. And he wasn't really getting results. And then finally, I'm just listen, dude, the reason you're not getting results is because you didn't pay. So what did he do? He paid for my full program. And within 2 or 3 weeks, he had his first video that got over 100,000 views. He immediately got results. Right? Because if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, and your self-investments reflect your pricing confidence, right? It's just psychology. You cannot get over human psychology. It's there, and it's almost impossible to get over. Time. Time is everything. Okay? It's going to take you time. It takes time to get skilled. It takes time to make money. It takes time for your business to be well known. It takes time for your business to compound, etc. It's time. It's time. Time is everything. Okay? It's just this simple. Time is everything. So just know that things are going to take time. And another fact that you need to know is you will almost always overestimate how much you can accomplish in 1 year or less, right? Maybe like a few months. But you will underestimate how much you can accomplish in 10 years. Because our brains are not very good at understanding the concept of time, right? So you will overestimate how much you can accomplish in 1 year, and you'll underestimate how much you can accomplish in 10 years. And on average, for like the average person, okay, for the average person, it's going to take you 5 to 7 years as a business owner to become a millionaire. For the average person. For someone who's above average, you can do it in 1 to 3 years, right? If you're like the top 10%, right? This is like top 10%. For instance, top 10% of my students, 1 to 3 years. I've even had a student make it in 6 months, but that's like super, super rare. This is like the middle 80%, and this is successful business owners. Will take 5 to 7 years. And then the bottom, probably like the bottom 10% is going to take, 10 to 20 years. 10 to 20 years, most likely, right? And that's not bad. I mean, shoot, 10 to 20 years to become a millionaire, like that's actually not bad, right? So even the bottom 10% that makes it still, they can become a millionaire in like 10 to 20 years, right? So 1 to 3 years is like top to 10%. Most people don't make it that fast. But, some people can do it. Some people who either, just work extra hard, they get a little bit lucky, they choose the right thing at the right time. But just know that chances are you're probably going to fall under this category. It's probably going to take you like 5 to 7 years to become a millionaire. And that's totally fine, right? Because it just compounds from there. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Because it might take you, let's say it takes you 7 years to become a millionaire, right? So this is like millionaire status right here. Well, it'll probably only take you another year to get to like $2 million. And then a year after that, you'll probably be at like $4 million, right? So it just compounds and it just gets faster and faster. Okay. All right. 12. This is a really important one. You need to fall in love with the game. You need to figure out how to love what you do in some way. Maybe you don't love exactly what you do. Let's say you are watching this and you own like a garbage business and you just control like, I don't know, 20, you control the garbage for like 20 different towns and you're making like $10 million a year. Chances are you're not going to enjoy getting rid of garbage, right? That's probably not what you're going to wake up and enjoy. But you know what you can enjoy? Giving value to society. The fact that when people put their garbage out, you take care of it. Like you're giving a tremendous amount of value to society. You know what else you can enjoy? Being as good at your job as you possibly can, right? You know what else you can enjoy? Employing a bunch of people, right? Giving a living to a bunch of families and supporting them. That's something you can enjoy. You know what else you can enjoy? Learning the operations inside of a business that you can apply to other businesses in the future. For instance, hiring, leadership, management, sales, marketing, operations, etc. All these things, you can master them and they're pretty, when it comes to easy to apply to other businesses, right? There's like a little bit of differences here and there, but for the most part, this stuff, like if you learn sales for one type of business, it's going to apply to another type of business. Same thing with marketing, operations, hiring, leadership, management, etc. So learning these evergreen skills, right? Getting better at these evergreen skills that are incredibly valuable to just about every area of your life. Another one is communication, by the way. Communication, super evergreen, super valuable skill. But fall in love with the game, guys. This is another one, where Michael Jordan said this was his secret. He fell in love with the game, and he fell in love with every aspect of the game. Even the stuff that he didn't like, rebounding, playing defense, shooting three-pointers, shooting free throws, like the stuff that even he didn't like, because I'm sure he loves dunking and he loves like driving the ball. That's his favorite thing to do. But passing the ball, like all these things that he doesn't necessarily love. Also being a leader, right? Pushing the guys to be better. That's something that Michael Jordan was incredibly good at. So he fell in love with every aspect of the game. He even learned basically coaching while he was still a player. And also he learned kind of how to be a general manager because he, had a lot of input on choosing who was on his team. Right? So he fell in love with every single aspect of the game. And that's why he is the absolute greatest to ever do it. All right, next, I don't know, maybe 11 or something. Read books and consume, read books and consume high quality content. Okay, read books and consume high quality content. And the inverse of this is stop consuming shitty content. Brain rot, I call this brain rot, right? Stop consuming brain rot. It's pretty simple. Basically, the concept behind this is GIGO, which is garbage in, garbage out. So if you put crappy content into your brain, you're going to get crappy output. So read books and consume high quality content. Not much more to say about that. I mean, it's incredibly important. Warren Buffett said that this is the one thing he noticed that all super successful people have in common is that they regularly read and consume high quality content. And there's a reason for that. I think Charlie Munger also said that too. All right, work hard. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but work hard. All these gurus telling you, you don't have to work hard, passive income, blah, blah, blah. You can get to that point where you are making passive income, but guess what? It's going to take a lot of hard work to get to that point. Because if you have people running your business, for instance, well, guess what you have to get good at? You're going to have to work hard at hiring, leadership, management, and operations. You have to get really good at these things, hiring, leadership, management, and operations if you want people to run your business for you, right? So you have to work hard no matter what. 13, surround yourself with people doing the same thing you're doing at your level and also above your level. So this is something we do in our coaching program is we basically have people that are at your level. So if you're a beginner, you're going to have people at your level that are also trying to make it on YouTube. Then we've got people above your level. And then we've got coach it, right? We got coaching and accountability. And the truth is, human beings, there's a saying, no man is an island. Okay? And this is a very, very true saying. No man is an island. Why? Because human beings are social animals. And so almost everything that has ever been accomplished, almost every great thing ever accomplished was done in groups. There's almost, you can almost think of like zero examples of great things that were accomplished that were just done by one person. And there's a reason for that. Think back to anything that you've gotten good at in your life. Maybe I keep on using basketball as an analogy. Maybe you got good at basketball or an instrument or dancing or math or, business maybe. Maybe if you're watching this and you're a business owner. Think of anything that you got good at. And chances are you did it originally in a group. For instance, like maybe sales, right? You got really good at sales. Well, chances are you had a bunch of other salespeople around you. You had people that were mentoring you, right? You did it in a group, right? Think about trying to get good at basketball. If you just tried to get good at it on your own, you're just shooting the ball, nobody's playing against you. How good are you going to get? Not very good. But if you were just simply to play with other people that are doing basketball, you'd get better significantly faster. Then if you play with people who are better at you, like some of the people are better than you are, you're going to see what's possible. You're going to get better significantly faster. right? For example, if you look up the 4-minute mile, nobody broke it for the longest time. I think it was in the 50s that someone broke it for the first time. And then almost immediately, like hundreds of people broke the 4-minute mile just because they saw that it's possible. They're like, oh my gosh, this is possible. Then hundreds of people broke it. And now you have high schoolers breaking it. High schoolers do it now, right? When back then it was only professionals. And so just simply believing that it's possible and like seeing that it's possible and being around other people, it's going to help you so much. And then of course, if you have coaching and feedback, that's the ultimate level because this is mentorship, right? So you need to get coaching and feedback, mentorship. If you want to do something fast, you must do it in a group. You must do it in a group. If you want to do something fast and efficiently, it has to be in a group. It's just that simple. All right. And then finally, I think this is 14 or 15, something like that. Track metrics if you want to improve them. Anything you want to improve past just newbie gains. Basically, anything you want to optimize, you must track. You must track it. This comes your sleep, your weight, how much money you're making in your business, your closing rate on your sales calls, how many views you get on YouTube when you post a video, your average view duration, your click-through rate, etc. You have to track them if you want to get better. It's just that simple. And that's something any millionaire will tell you. So yeah, these are some of the absolute most important points, guys, that helped me to become a millionaire. And this is no BS, right? This is the absolute most important stuff. If it's not on this list, it probably isn't that important. And I think one of the biggest things, guys, is, one of the biggest opportunities is just the boat that you're in. And that's number 15, which is choose the right boat. You need to make sure that you choose the right boat because there's some boats, some business models you can choose that are just not that great. They have a low ceiling. They're going to be way harder. The boat's going to sink, etc. And you need to choose the right boat. And in my opinion, the best boat right now for lots of different business models out there is a YouTube channel where you sell high ticket products. Okay, YouTube to high ticket product. That is the best boat. That's what I teach people how to do. Once in a while, people do, low ticket. They do other types of stuff from the YouTube channel. Sometimes that works for certain niches. But for the most part, YouTube channel that sells high ticket products. That's where it's at, guys. And that's exactly how I teach people what to do. You can check it out in the description and the pinned comment below. And I'll see you in the next video.